So Jan, can you tell a little bit how does this course fit into the master's program?
Yes. So in this class, we teach students to think comparatively and historically about human rights and democratization. They cover a lot of ground in their other courses and in terms of themes and methods. And in this class, we encourage them to ask big questions about how, for example, human rights and democracy have a different shape and tenor in the Asia-Pacific region, in contrast to, say, Western Europe or the US or the UK. It's a class in which we tackle the big arguments about things like the when and where and how of the origin of human rights. So in sum, I would say that this is a class that not only has a fit for itself, but it also helps students to understand where do the parts of what they're learning in other courses, how do those things fit together?
Okay, and how would you teach it? How would the course be taught?
So the class has a combination of methods that include, we use lectures, group discussion, as well as some activities that are where the students get to interact and present. There is also an expectation that students will be writing in response to the reading that they are doing. In many respects, the objectives and the methods are not so different from previous years. But of course, with the shift to online learning for this coming, at least the beginning of this coming term, we have made some adjustments. So students, for example, will have a chance to, at their own pace, review pre-recorded presentations, short lectures. They will still also be writing and exchanging their papers with one another, and these will include both more informal reaction papers as well as more formal critiques of what they are reading.
So they have to do some work beforehand, come to class, and do the work. Okay, what do you expect to be the challenges that students face?
Well, this is a class that people do very openly complain about regularly. I'm quite accustomed to it. Some of the difficulties are that there's a certain way of thinking, and the type of readings that you're doing may not be very familiar to people. It's a bit more abstract. It's the readings and the approaches to issues that people know in an everyday sense about, for example, inequality. The way that they will approach it in this class will be looking a bit more big picture, as well as it's slightly more conceptually. So people are being asked to push a bit outside of their comfort zone. And I would say another challenge in this class is that not everything has a nice, ready answer to it. And it's a class where people do need to become comfortable with not necessarily having one answer that fits for all.
Okay, and can you tell the students what's the benefits of this theory class for the future career? Why do you need to learn theory?
Well, that's a question for which there is not an easy answer, because it's not typically the case that people get jobs on the basis of what they have done in their theory courses. However, we do really very warmly and genuinely believe and encourage students to see that what you take from a class like this can be transferred to further academic study or to research or to advocacy work, in as much as you precisely become a more confident, active learner. And that is a skill that will serve you well in any kind of research, analysis, writing.
So building academic skills and capacity also.
That ideally can be used in any situation in which I would say you are required to think.
That's a good point. And last one, would you give any advice to students how they should prepare before they can?
Well, thankfully we have materials that are available. Those include the range of academic tips on skills, on academic skills, on time management, on developing an ability to focus beyond the ways that we are accustomed to with our divided attentions that online interactions take us to. So those links to those resources are there for students. There are a lot of readings that the students are being given a chance to do in advance, and we would certainly encourage them to read as actively as they can, practice note-taking, and to get used to consulting resources on their own as well, to help them to fill in what they may need, where their gaps are, in order to enable them to engage with these readings more comfortably.
Okay, thank you very much, Ajahn. So look forward to see students in this course.
Me too, indeed.
Yeah.